Welcome back to the Crochet Chronicles, my friends over at yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. This is a brand new yarn, came out in June of 2018, and it's got a Granny Ripple Afghan on the actual ball band. When you turn it over, when you buy this particular label yarn, you will find the instructions on the back. Today's video is showing you how to be able to do that. So what we have is that we have Care and Kindness. It's 100% polyester. It's designed for charity in mind, and the Afghan that we have here is a very generous size, and you'll need a total of 3 different colors, and you will see that here, and you need 3 balls of each. So because it's a generous size Afghan, you'll need more of the yarn, but I'm going to tell you how to change the pattern if you'd like to make it like a baby blanket size if you wish. You're going to need a 5mm size H crochet hook in order to play, and let's decipher the instructions first. So when you go to feel this yarn, this is the tomato color, and it feels very different than acrylic because it's 100% polyester. So it's got a very different feel to it. A lot of our clothing is made with polyester as well, and so this is something that you should be familiar with anyway, as far as like wearing garments with polyester. So we have a pattern, and it's consisting of a wave, and let me tell you a little bit about this wave. As we start the instructions, it says chain 218, and you're thinking, wow, that's a lot of chains for an Afghan that's you know, just a general size. But you have to remember that the chain travels up and down, and as it travels up and down, it accordions in, so it causes it to come inward. So therefore, when you're thinking of 218, when you're at the end of this, you're going to think that's a lot, but then if you're thinking about it has to go in an up and down motion, you'll see that it will collapse in. The first row that we do when we go to cross is that we're going to go in the up motion and then down and up and down, and so the top motions here have 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet into the same stitch, and we skip 2, and then we put 1 by itself, so 3 double crochets into the same one, and then we skip over, and then you see that these are kind of bridging together when you have, so you have 1 in here, 3 double crochets, skip 5, and then 3 double crochets, and it causes it to collapse like this. So then you have 1 going up by itself. So the neat thing to remember is that when you're going up and down the hills, at the bottom of the hills they'll group together like this, and at the top of the hills they'll group together like that, and then there's 1 in between that's standalone, and if you can remember that, it's very easy. So once you get onto row number 2, row number 2 is a repeat pattern throughout the whole thing, and in this blanket there are 4 rows of the same color before it changes to a new color. If you'd like to change the size of this, I figured it out that the multiples are 18 plus 2. So you just chain in multiples of 18 and 18 and 18, and when satisfied, then you'll have to just add an extra 2 to keep the balance of the pattern. So, and I've also verified that as well. So without further ado, let's grab our yarn, a 5mm size H crochet hook, and let's get you started, and I'm going to show you up into row number 3 just to prove that everything works out. So let's get started now. So let's begin with the slip knot. And you can chain 218 if you wish, or you can do multiples of 18 plus 2. I'm going to do the multiples of 18 plus 2. I'll do 3 multiples and then I'll add 2 at the end. So you just have to chain, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So remember that when you see this distance here, it's going to collapse like this, so it's not as wide as you think it may be. So there's 1 multiples of 18. So either go to 218 for me, or chain in multiples of 18 and then add 2 at the very end. I'll see at the end of this chain. So I now have my 3 sets of 18, so I'm going to just add 2 at the very end to bring balance back to this pattern. So you'll see the distance there, and remember it does go up and down to collapse. So let's start on row number 1. It doesn't matter how long your chain is, as long as it's in the correct multiples, or it's 218, and we're going to begin and work our way across nice and slowly. So let's do that next. So let's go and put 3 double crochets, 3rd chain from the hook. So if you just count it back, so 1, 2, 3, 4, oops. So let's start row number 1. We're going to put 3 double crochets, 5th chain from the hook. So you just have to count back the number of chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and turn it over and do the back hump of that chain, and I want you to double crochet into the 5th one, which is the back hump of that stitch, or of that chain. So we're going to do 1 double crochet, 2, and 3. What I don't want you to get confused is that this space that you just skipped over is not included as that grouping of 3. So don't include that in your mind, because it makes a difference down in the future. I want you to skip 2 more chains, and I want you to put 3 double crochets into the 3rd chain away. So skipping 2, go to the third and put 3 double crochet. We're going up the hill. So I'm gonna refer going up the hill and then in the valleys when we're at the bottoms of the hills. So there's 3 double crochets in that one. So we're gonna skip 2 more, so 1 and 2, and this will be the top of the hill, and there will be 3 double crochets into that one to start. That's not all we're gonna put in there, but we're gonna put in 3 to begin. It's always finicky doing the first chain, but as many of us know is that once you get the first chain done, it gets easier. So we got 2 and 3 double crochets. Then I want you to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. This is the very top of the hill, and in the same one I want you to put in 3 double crochets again. So that will always exist at the top of a hill. So 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. So let's go down the hill. So we're heading to the valley. So we're gonna skip 2. So I'm gonna skip 1 and 2 and go to the third one and put 3 double crochet in. So 1, 2 and 3. So we're heading down the hill, and then we're gonna just go to the valley of the hill, or the valley of the valley. So we're gonna just skip 2 and we're going to put 3 double crochet into the next one. So the third one away, this is part of the valley. So 1, 2 and 3. So on row number 1, which is this one, we have something unique going on. We have to establish the valley, which we don't see yet. So I want you to skip 5 next to the 5 next chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Go to the 6th one, and I want you to put in 3 more double crochets into the 6th one. So 1, 2 and 3. So that now just established the valley. See how they're grouping together? So these 2 are leaning into that, creating that bottom. So we're now gonna head back up the hill. So we're going to skip the next 2 chains, go to the third one and go and put 3 double crochet again. So this is the middle, this is the halfway point. So this is the resting point. If you were taking a walk up a hill, you're gonna stop here at the rest station before proceeding to the rest of the top of the hill. So skipping 2 more, I want you to create the top of the hill again. So we're gonna do 3 double crochet. So 1, 2 and 3, and then chain 3, and in the same one again 3 more double crochets. So you've just created the peak of your hill at the top. But now your sunny day is over and we're gonna start heading down the hill to go back home. So we're just gonna skip the next 2 chains, 1 and 2, go to the third one, and you're putting 3 double crochets. That's your resting point halfway down the hill. And then we're gonna create another valley next. So let's start creating our valley. So we're gonna skip 2, go to the third one over and put in 3 double crochet. So 1, 2 and 3, and because this is the valley and because it's row number 1, you're going to skip 5. So we're gonna skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go to the 6th one and double crochet 3 more times. So you've just now created the valley. This is where the water stream is, at the very bottom in between the mountain peaks of your Granny Ripple Afghan. So you're just gonna continue in the same motion going up and down, and you will see that it's going in up and down motion now. And so when you get to the very end, I'm gonna show you how to do that next. So just continue to do that, and if you just wanna stay with me now, I will continue to go up and down until I get to the end of my chain. So skipping 2, we're going to then create the halfway point of going back up a hill. So it's the third one away. So you just have to be able to identify where's your halfway points up a hill and where's your bottoms and your tops. So now we're gonna go to the top of the hill. So we're at the very top. We're gonna put in 3 double crochet to start. 1, 2 and 3. You're at the top, so you got to chain 3, and then you're gonna just take a look on the other side of the mountain. So you're gonna put 3 more double crochets into the same one. But you know what? I'm coming to the end of my chain, and eventually you will too. So to come back down the chain, back down the valley, okay, you're gonna skip 2 and put 3 double crochet in. So this is your resting spot halfway down. This is where the tour bus is gonna pick you up eventually. You never know, I'm getting really technical here. So you're gonna continue to go down the hill, so you're just gonna skip the next 2 and you're going to put in 3 double crochet again. So I'm coming to the very end of my chain, and then eventually the story runs out and you have 3 more chains left. So in the 3rd chain away, the last one, you're just gonna put 1 double crochet by itself. So originally when I was looking at this pattern, I thought that when we skipped to the 5th chain from the hook at the start, that was part of everything, but it's not. It stands alone, and that proves it on that side. So at this point, no matter how long your chain is, you should have an up and down motion just like you see. Let's move along to row number 2, which is the existing row for the remaining of your project. So row number 2 is going to be consistent for the remaining of your project, and we're going to continue to grow this out. Okay, you should be growing up in a straight line up the side, so flat up. It should not be growing outward, and this is what you need to pay attention to. So to start off, we're going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. I want you to come in between the space of the 2 double crochet groups that you see, and I want you to put in 3 double crochets there. So 1, 2 and 3, and you're thinking to yourself, well, why didn't you put the 3 double crochets here? Because you need it to be a flat line going all the way up. So then you're going to put another double crochet right here, or 3 groups of 3 in the next grouping, between the next grouping of 3. Okay, so just remember how you had it. You had 1, 2 and then the top. So in this row here you have 1, 2 and then the top is next. So we're gonna do the very top. It's gonna be the same what you already know. It's 3 double crochet, okay, chain 3 going up over top of the hill, and in the same space I want you to put in 3 more double crochet. That keeps that peak being very consistent. So in ripples, what happens is that the peak is constantly switching up and going up in the up motion like this, so you have to compensate that on the sides by just starting 1 in instead of on the very outside. So let's go down the hill. You're just gonna separate the next grouping of 3 double crochets and just go right in between them for 3 double crochet. So you're no longer skipping chains, you're just looking for the spaces that you need to work in between. So that's the resting spot halfway down the hill. That's where you're taking a break. And now the next one here is going to be part, and it's gonna be creating that valley. So we're gonna put 3 double crochet first. Okay, and to create the valley, you don't go into the next grouping. You skip all the way over to here. So you keep those together. So let's just do that. And you'll see that is the right answer in just a moment. You see by skipping that you just created the valley. So now you're gonna go up the hill, so you're just gonna go into the next space that's available to you. So 3 double crochet. That's your resting spot halfway up the hill, and then you have the top peak again. So it's gonna be 3 double crochet. Okay, chain 3 because you're at the top of the hill, and then 3 double crochet again. So let's start going down the hill. So just look for the next space. Okay, it's right there. So this is the standalone, this is the resting spot halfway down. It's a nice easy pattern to be able to remember. And then the next one here, you're just gonna skip to the next space. But what's unique about this one, this is part of the valley. So when you go into the next space, you can't because you're at the valley. So you just have to skip to the second empty space to keep that valley looking consistent. So that's the only one you really gotta watch for, but it's really not a big deal. If you're following the pattern, and once this starts materializing, you'll see that it's quite obvious. So you're gonna go back up the hill. So double crochet, 3 of them in the next space. So you're just gonna go in the up and down motion all the way across, and then eventually you'll hit the other side. So you're going into a peak, so it's gonna be 3 double crochet, and then what is in the peak, there's another chain 3, don't forget, that allows it to bend, and then we're gonna head down the hill. Okay, so skipping to the next space down the hill, that's your halfway point, that's where you're gonna take a rest. And then you're continuing down the hill, and then the next space you're going to, and this existing on this one because it's the edge, it should be part of a valley, but because it's an edge you just have to stop there, and then you double crochet into the chain right over here. So just go right into a chain, and then that keeps that consistent on that side. So to start up any other rows, it's exactly what you've just learned. So let's start again. I'm gonna chain 4, and you come into this space right here. So skip this right here, so just right in between, and put in 3 double crochets to go back up the hill. Most people, they screw up these waves or chevrons by adding it too early, so it doesn't have that straight line going up. You're still going up the hill, so go in between the next spaces for 3 double crochet. Then you're at the top of the hill, so just go into the next space and put in 3 double crochet first. Okay, chain 3, and then 3 double crochet again, and start heading down the hill. So down the hill you go into the next space. This is the resting spot halfway down the hill, and then the next one is the valley. So you're just gonna go into the next space first, put in 3 double crochet, then you're going to skip the next space and go to the second one over because you're in the valley, to bring that over to keep that point going down. Keeps your valley being consistent. 3 double crochet. So let's pull that back. Do you see that? And now let's go up the hill. So the next space is your resting spot halfway up. We were just on the Alaskan crochet cruise and we really required resting breaks. So at the top of the hill you got 3 double crochets and chain 3 and 3 double crochet. So this pattern changes colors every 4 rows. So I have to do one more of this color and then I change it to a new color, and just use your color changing techniques. We have tutorials available on that as well. I just bought this one ball of yarn today from Michaels. It's exclusive to Michaels, and I bought that one ball of yarn, so I really can't show you a color change using the same yarn because I just don't have it. I should have bought 2 yarn balls. So you're just gonna skip the next one, go to the second one over to keep your valley being the same. And then go to the next space. Okay, and then go to the top of the valley, or the top of the hill, sorry. 3 double crochets to start. Chain 3 to come down the other side. So just put 3 more double crochets in there before you go down. That keeps the top of your hill consistent. And then let's go down the hill. So this is gonna be the very end of the line for me on here, but you may have a much longer one. So just continue the up and down motion right to the end. As it coming down into the very end, you're just gonna skip over and do the next double crochet 3 times. And then once you get that done, just double crochet into the actual chain on the end. And that will keep that consistent, and therefore you have your lines going up and down, and you can see that this should stay vertical with these as well. And when you just move it across, you also have the vertical line on the other side just going straight up. So this is all this pattern is. It's a really quite an easy one. You'll find that it will do a really great job, and it's a great idea for charity at the same time. So this is the Care and Kindness by yarnspirations.com. This is what's on the ball pattern, and I hope that you enjoyed. So this is the Crochet Granny Ripple Blanket by Yarnspirations. We'll see you again. I'm Mikey from the Crochet Crowd.